Alright, let's try graphing some more, except for now they're not in standard form. Now this one is going to be in vertex form, which means if we review our section of notes, this is some key points about vertex form right here. So, the vertex is the opposite of whatever you see here being done inside the parentheses. The opposite. That's what that minus sign is telling us. That's the x value of the vertex, and then the y value of the vertex k is literally whatever number in the sign is in front of it here outside the parentheses and the squared. So opposite of what's inside the parentheses being done to x, so that's a -1, and then literally what is being outside, or what is outside of the parentheses and the squared, so +3. Over here, opposite of what's inside the parentheses, so a +1 for our x value, and then literally what's outside the squared in the parentheses, so -4. The axis of symmetry is the line x equals whatever our h value is that we picked. Remember, the axis of symmetry always goes right through the vertex. It's a vertical line. So axis of symmetry is x equals -1 here. Axis of symmetry over here is x equals +1. And then the parabola opens up if a is positive and opens down if a is negative. So here our a is +1. We can put a multiplier of 1 right there. And then here are our leading it's essentially a is still that powerful leading coefficient. It's -3. So it's going to open down. And folks, it's going to be a lot steeper. We can still use that trick of jumping from the vertex to the first point. I know I'm going to drop down 3 from the vertex to the next point on the right and the left of the vertex. So let's give this a shot. From here, we will plot our vertex for number 1. It's at -1, +3. And so then let's move 1 to the right. So that's the x value is 0 there. So let's substitute in 0 for x. Nice small number to work with. So 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 squared is still 1. Add 3, you get 4. Sure enough, when I move, should have done a different color. When I move 1 to the right from the vertex, I am jumping up only 1 value. And we can reflect that over the axis of symmetry. So that's right there. Again, axis of symmetry, vertical line through the vertex. So last but not least, let's get one more point. So if we move 1 more to the right, that would be f of 1. So I'm plugging in 1 for x. So 1 plus 1 squared plus 3. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. When x is 1, y is 7. Boom, right there. Reflect it right there. I don't know if I've been drawing my parabolas from here, folks. Connect that with a smooth U shape. Don't let it get pointy on the bottom. There's the parabola. All right, number 2. Let's plot the vertex at 1, -4. Boom. This is not good because it's going to be going down. We're not going to get. We're not going to be getting 5 points on here. I don't think I goofed up anywhere. I don't think so. All right. My prediction is, since this a value is -3, that when I move left to right 1, I'll be down to yeah. All right, let's try this. I think I'll be down 3. So I think I'll be down to -7. All right, so let's try f of, if I move 1 to the left, it's 0. If I move 1 to the right, it's 2. I'd rather work with 0. So 0 minus 1 is -1. And then, so we have our order of operations here, folks. Parentheses first, so that gives you -1. And then what do you do next? Do you multiply, or do you do exponents, squaring? You have to square an x. So -1 squared is +1. +1 times -3 is -3. -3 minus 4 is -7. Folks, you can use a calculator on that. You do not have to be doing what I'm doing there. Sure enough, if you drop down to, if you plot the point 0, -7, you actually drop down 3 from that vertex, whatever our a or leading coefficient value is. Then from here, I'm going to do one more point. It's not going to fit on the graph, because remember, this is a negative parabola. We're going to keep on negatively sloped parabola. I shouldn't use the word slope. It's a frowny-faced parabola. This one won't fit on there, but at least we know the exact coordinates where it would go. So I'm trying -1 now. So this is -2. -2 squared is 4. 4 times -3 is -12. -12 minus 4 is -16. So I believe we'd be sitting here. But we can't graph that. So let's just make an upside down parabola. Alrighty. Let's try a little intercept form. The intercepts are P and Q in this form. Whenever you see that minus sign in front, think the word opposite. It's the opposite of what you see up here, and it's the opposite of what you see over here. So the x-intercepts are here at -2 and 4. Sorry, -4. X, because it's the opposite. X-intercepts are -2 and -4. And I shouldn't write those as a coordinate pair. I'm going to actually write out the word and, because I don't want that to be confusing. So on the graph, we are going to -2 and -4 on the x-axis. These are always the x-intercepts, where y is 0. Alrighty. So then your vertex, or your axis of symmetry, excuse me, is going to be a vertical line right between those 2 points. So you know when we reflect things, it's always about the axis of symmetry, and the axis of symmetry is always in between our points that are being reflected. So our axis of symmetry has to be like that thick black line that I just put on there. So then from here, the parabola opens up if A is greater than 1, or down if A is less than, opens up if A is positive, down if A is negative. So we're opening up because A is our leading coefficient out here, and it's positive, it's a 1. So then from here, since the axis of symmetry, AOS is x equals -3, I know what the vertex is going to be where x is -3. But let's figure out what y is then. So let's plug in -3 for x. Excuse me. So what's my height of the vertex on my axis of symmetry? So I get -1 here. I'm multiplying that with +1. -1 times +1 is -1, so right there. And then, so we know we have our values of y when x is -4, -3, -2. Let's do -1. Just trying to get one more point, which will give me another point beyond that using symmetry. So -1 plus 2, -1 plus 4, and then multiplying whatever those sums are. So we get 1 times 3, which is 3. So when x is -1, y is 3. Reflect it. There is your parabola. All right, let's try that again. Let's pull these notes up. X-intercepts are the opposite of what you see being done here in the parentheses to this x and to that x. So our x-intercepts, x-ints, -4, and again, thinking opposites, +2. Let's plot that. -4, +2. So then, our axis of symmetry is going to be between those two values. So at x equals, ooh, right between it looks like a -1. So therefore, I know my vertex is at -1 for the x value, but what's my y going to be? And by the way, folks, notice your leading coefficient here is a -1. I could squeak a 1 in front of that. So make sure you don't omit that negative sign out in front. So the opposite of -1 plus 4 times -1 minus 2. So that would give us a -3 times 2, which is -6. So when x is -1, y is -6. Something feels wrong about that. Something feels real wrong. Let's just forget that even happened, folks. And that's where Mr. P should be showing a little more work, but space is limited on these things. So here we get 3, and here we get -3. Goof up. So then we get actually a +9 out of this. Do you know how I knew that? Magic. Just kidding. Remember how we talked about this needs to be opening down? So when I got a -6 and I visually put that down here, that's my vertex. Oh man, that's a smiley face, and it's not a smiley face. It's a frowny face. So I need to have my vertex up here. My vertex is going to be my highest point. So let's get one more. Let's figure out what, this will be easy. Let's figure out what y is when x is 0. Well, I shouldn't say that's going to be easy because, you know, stuff happens. But let's do, so the opposite of x 0 plus 4 times 0 minus 2. So we get the opposite of, I'm bringing that negative or minus sign opposite down, 4 times -2, which is a +8. So when x is 0, y is 8, I'm going to do this in green. X is 0, y is 8. That's right there. Reflected about the axis of symmetry right there. So there is the parabola. Woo. Also notice our a value is -1, so we dropped 1 from the vertex. Over here our a value is +1, we rose 1 from the vertex. Pretty exciting stuff, huh? Yeah.